What's going on? Welcome back to Trending Stocks. Today is October the 25th. Happy Friday, everyone. I want to give you a quick pre-market update, go over some of the hot movers and what big money is doing today. Before I get into any of that though, make sure you guys hit that thumbs up. And with that, let's get right to it. So regarding data points, no different than what I've been stating pretty much this whole week. It's going to be more with companies unveiling their earnings rather than the data points. The only thing to really watch for today is durable goods, but aside from that, nothing really crazy. Fear and greed index is starting to pull back slightly, so still under the greed category. So in theory, people's appetite for risk is kind of on the table still, and the futures are up slightly. So NASDAQ is up 0.18. S&P it is up 0.21 and Dow is up 0.13. So today seems to be somewhat of a good day. We'll just have to ultimately find out. But a lot of big companies unveiling their earnings, very good stuff. So UPS, American, not so much. I think in reality, a lot of people already are eyeing next week. So we'll kind of just have to wait and see. And one big company unveiling their earnings next week is yours truly, Sofi. Seems to be a very much unstoppable force right now. No news today, no SEC filings, so it's kind of just piggybacking off of the market and just having its whole like FOMO 2.0 that it's going through. Currently up 3.29% pre-market. It'd be very interesting to see what shorts do, and I'm actually like very curious at this stage on what is going to happen with SoFi's earnings, because as I've stated in the past, historically there's a sell-off regardless of the results, but this time around there seems to be the market's taking earnings not just with SoFi but now across the board for face value. So yeah, I don't know, this might be the first opportunity that SoFi could actually run up after their earnings. So it'll be, yeah, I'm very curious. But 16.74% of the free float's being shorted. They really did double down yesterday. So that's what caused a lot of volatility. With today being Friday, be very interesting to see exactly what they do. And actually what I'll do is I'll give you a quick overview of this. So this is the current open interest for the calls. So with today being Friday, they could come into play a little bit, but 21,000 at that 10.50 and then 28,000 at that 11. So nothing really crazy for walls, but still something to keep in mind that they have manipulated I guess for less in the past, so something to keep in mind. But as of right now, with it at $11.28, is trading between this pivot and this R1. So 11.48 or 47 is going to be the next strong resistance slash target. And for the support, I'm actually looking at the 1 week because it's ran up so much. So for support, you'll have to kind of look at this right here. So $11.13. So basically 11.13 to 11.47. So yeah, it's FOMO 2.0. Moving on, Tesla. So Tesla had a huge day yesterday. So up 21.92%. It is pulling back slightly today, nothing to do with their earnings whatsoever, rather just profit taking, and that happens a lot. Whenever a stock runs up, in theory there is going to be a certain level of profit taking. Shorts though already are increasing 5.22 million shares pre-market, so they see some downside a little bit, but Tesla definitely isn't a squeeze play, so don't get me wrong. 2.85% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 79.16 million shares. Regarding this, right now with at 255 and change, trading between this pivot and this R1, so 245 will be a strong support. Flip side, 266 is going to be the next strong resistance slash target. So in theory, the market could really push Tesla higher, even though it had the high of 262. It could definitely, there's more room on the table for it to move up. So something to consider. Faraday. So I have a love-hate relationship with Faraday. Generally just looking at the stock price, down 98.41%. Things haven't gone like according to plan all that much, but pre-market it is up quite a lot because of this news. So it's not immediate news. It's potentially late 2025 or early 2026, they will be breaking ground for the most part in the UAE. And the writing's been on the wall for this for a while, because for those of you that watched my Faraday videos, they did kind of establish a company in the UAE starting, I think it was in May/June of this year. So I think this was coming, but in my opinion, they don't really have a sustainable vehicle that they can ramp up on that they can utilize for the UAE. They are, and previously they've talked on kind of that sub brand, so their secondary brand that should be coming late 2025, but they don't have the prototype yet. And from my experience kind of dealing with other companies, the prototype is the hardest thing, that at least in the immediate short term. So they don't even have that. That's going to be very, very hard. And then aside from that, ramping up. So I think in reality, Faraday has become, over the last little bit, a long-term investment. If you are investing in Faraday, you are literally investing up until 2026, and this news really does solidify that. Right now, 36.42% of the free float is being shorted, so rather high stuff. And then right now, with at $2.48, is trading between this S2 and this S1, so 258. This is going to be the next strong resistance / target, and then $1.68 is going to be the strong support. In my opinion, again, I might, just because I have a love-hate relationship with Faraday, might be, I guess, somewhat biased, but I think that once the market does open, there will be a corresponding spike up. But I think a lot of people reading between the lines won't really like this news and it'll sell off. But that's just me. You guys do your own due diligence. This stock ticker CPRI down quite a lot. I have a bid in for this company because I feel like the sell-off that did happen is somewhat unjustified. And ultimately, a judge did block, I believe it's Coach's actual potential takeover of this company. So that's why I say on this channel, even though there is a tentative deal, there's PR, you have to be cautious because there's plenty of opportunity. Companies could pull out of the deal, judges could block deals. And so, yeah, essentially that is why this is pulling back. But in reality, it could be back on the table potentially. But still, right now, 7.53% of the free float is being shorted. Currently, pre-market, shorts are increasing 468,000 shares, 8.66 million shares overall are being shorted. So yeah, today should be a very volatile and interesting day. And since it did go down so much, I actually have to look at the 1 week chart. So currently $16 is roughly the very, very line in the sand, strong support. Flip side, $29.54. So it's obviously just going to trade within this range. Yeah, like I have a bid at $20, so we'll wait and see if it does kind of dip towards that. But even if not, I'm not going to lose any sleep over it. And Joby right now is down a lot because they announced a issuance. And so they announced the issuance at 419 yesterday, and then they followed that up with very early morning news just with a tentative price. So it works out to be, I believe it was $5.05 per share. And so that is that 40 million. So yeah, not the best. So with it right now at $5.15, I could see it dipping below that 505. That's usually what does happen, at least. But as it stands, trading between this pivot and this R1, so 508 is going to be a strong support, followed by 477, then 538 is going to be the next strong resistance / target. So in my opinion, I think it's just going to trade between this S1 and the pivot. It is somewhat heavily shorted, so 18.2% of the free floats being shorted, works out to be 75.22 million shares. So anticipate shorts to be relatively active today. But yeah, that's basically it. Do you own any of these stocks? Is there any other stocks that is on your watch list that you feel is going to be a very big player today? And yeah, what's your thoughts? Hopefully everyone has a good Friday leading into the weekend. Aside from that, two things: take advantage of this promo because it gives you 8 free shares, and stock free stuff is good, right? And each stock is valued up to $2,000, so that's a kick-ass deal that you must take advantage of, only up until November the 30th. And then over and above that, I did launch memberships under this YouTube channel, so if you like the content, want to support the channel, you can definitely do so. Or if you want buy options, buy signals on options and stocks, there's a tier for that as well. With all that, appreciate all of you watching.